Welcome to Spotlight, where each week a guest takes center stage for an intuitive tarot reading. You'll get a front row seat to a real recorded session as we explore the magic of tarot together. My goal is to create a space where we navigate challenges, uncover fresh perspectives, and reconnect with inner wisdom, giving you a glimpse into what it's like to receive a reading with me. Interested in being a Spotlight guest? Just fill out the application below and I'll be in touch about getting you on. Now, without further ado, let's meet this week's guest. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Spotlight, which is the side episodes that I bring guests on to be featured. And I'm so excited to have Sarita Buer on. She was actually a guest on my other podcast a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, but she's great. I'm so excited to have her here. Thank you for being here today, Sarita.
Thank you so much for having me back again, Sarah. It's always a pleasure. Love your energy. And we have very similar names, which I love.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know. I love connecting with you and you're so vibrant. And yeah, I'm just so excited to dive in because of where you're going with your life. So while I shuffle, so what we're doing, I want to focus on, we talked pre-recording, we're going to focus on her journey and her business kind of intertwine and see what her higher self and guides need her to know around that. But while I shuffle, why don't you share with our listeners what that journey is, and then also kind of share what your experience with tarot is as well.
Sure. So I am just commencing. So I'm about 3.5 weeks into a lifestyle change, which is me completely throwing everything that I don't need into storage and then throwing the stuff that I essentially need in my car. And I've started this nomadic journey. I lived in Southern California for about 20 some years. And I just felt like I outgrew it. And so I've always wanted to essentially live on the road and just kind of go where life takes me. And so as a manifestation coach and somebody who is very intentional now about creating a lifestyle and life that's in congruency with my authenticity, I knew that staying in one place for a period of time and that I've outgrown it, that I wanted to do something different and really essentially live the dream lifestyle that I've always wanted to live. And so, yes, about 3.5 some weeks ago, I left SoCal and I've just been kind of making my way and been in Los Angeles, I've been in Las Vegas, now I'm in Arizona. And so I'm making my way to Florida. That's kind of my first destination. So just really embodying and living this life that I've always dreamed of instead of just kind of like saying like, oh, like it'll come to me someday. So really using the intentionality. And I love, love, love utilizing tools to support me in getting more clarity and like direction. And I really truly believe tarot has been an integral tool that I've just started using within the last probably like year. It was something that I thought was really cool, but I just didn't really have much experience about it. And so one of my declarations was just like, okay, like I'm open to receiving insight and knowledge through any type of resources that are available to me, right? And tarot really landed in my lap, and that's how Sarah and I connected because I just love that she utilizes tarot, and also it's such a really powerful tool when it comes to manifestation because that helps you just get a lot more clarity in maybe the direction that you want to go and finding out kind of what the energy is like currently in the situation. So,
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'm so excited for you and this journey that you're on, and really excited for your reading that we're going to about to dive into as well. But I'm also excited that you already have a relationship with tarot when a lot of my guests I don't. I mean, a couple of them have dabbled, but for the most part, they haven't so far. So just talking to someone who also has a bit of an understanding of it because you're learning it too, and so it's exciting. So as I start your reading, I do tend to like once I just start talking, it's just like start things to start channeling, and I don't always remember to stop and check in. So please interrupt me if you need to, if you want to comment or if you have a question or if you're confused, like just jump in at any point in time. It does not mess me up at all. It just you know, reminds me to check in. So,
awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Love it. I love the channeled energy.
So I'm doing my higher self spread. I'm gonna go over theme, past, present, future energies, and then higher self messages. I did have to pull a couple clarifiers. So while there's normally 7 cards on the table, for you there's actually 9 because I just needed a little more. So starting with your theme. I have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, and then I have the Knight of Pentacles. This was the clarifier because I wanted a little more information around the Ace of I mean, sorry, the Ace of Pentacles. So this question was a little bit about your journey and your business, and so this card is super interesting to me, the Ace of Pentacles being reversed, because usually when it's reversed, it's like you're not fully taking the opportunity. But clearly, at least when it comes to your traveling journey, you are on the way. And so what I'm getting from this, especially with the Nine of Pentacles being the clarifier, I feel like you've taken the opportunity, but you're like afraid. I feel like this is more the business aspect. I feel like the journey that you're on, like the choice to travel, like you're on that you're all in. When it comes to what you're doing with your business, you're still like you're holding the seed of potential and ideas, and you're like, what do I do? Like, do I plant it? Do I hold on to it? Like, what do I do with it? So it's like that's what I feel like the holdup is, at least on the business side. So with the Nine of Pentacles here, I feel like part of the fear is that it's going to take too long. I feel like you want to plant it and it's just already a flourishing garden, and you're like, this is exactly what I want in my life. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. And so I feel like there's a part of you that understands this is a journey, like your physical journey, your business is going to flourish in the same way where it's going to be day to day, right? But I also feel like there's a part of you that doesn't want to have to wait either, if that makes sense. Because the Knight of Pentacles is usually an impatience card. It's like I just want to get there already, and usually with the Nine of Pentacles, there's already groundwork that's been laid. So it's almost like you've already done a lot to get where you are. So there is that small part of you that's like, why am I not farther? And so I
Mhm.
feel like your theme is like, and I feel like it definitely intertwines with like your choice to leave. Like that was such a big decision for you that I feel like higher self is piggybacking off of that. Like, look, you just decided to do this thing and look how it's playing out. So they're asking you to do the same thing with your idea for your business, to just do it, to just plant it, and to just trust the process and know that, yeah, it might be a little slower than you want it to be, but it's going to be so much more stable when you get to that success because you're taking the time to lay that foundation.
Love that. Wow, that really lands for me. Big time.
Yeah, I love that theme because it's like, yeah, the idea is here. It's you have it. Now do. Don't like because with the Ace of Pentacles, you have, I like to say, you have two choices. You can set it on a shelf where nothing happens, but it's there to look at, or you can plant it and actually let things start happening. And I feel like that's what you're really being invited into, especially with your business side. Um, Looking at your recent past, I have the Star, which I love. This is one of my, it's like it's a very soft card, so it's one of my favorites just in that particular side of it. But the Star is specifically around healing, but like deep old childhood wounds. And so I love that this is in your past because that tells me that you've already answered that invitation for healing. I mean, obviously there's always more, but I feel like that is what's really put you in this place where you feel confident enough to travel, to do this more nomadic lifestyle because you've done a lot of that past healing that you needed to do. And the thing about the Star is it's never like just the petty things. It's always the really difficult stuff that we just want to pretend doesn't exist. So that tells me that you really rose to the occasion for yourself, for your inner child. And so you've done a lot of work to get you to this point now where you have that freedom to just lean more into the embodiment versus the healing aspect. So I really love that for you.
Mm.
Presently, I have the Ace of Cups. And I love this because for a couple of reasons. I mean, I feel like this definitely is going to be speaking to both the travel and your business. It's just, I feel like you're in this space where you're finally able to choose you emotionally. And so that tells me that you're taking time every day to check in with yourself to see how full is my cup. You're not trying to answer to anyone else right now. So if your cup's not full, you're going to take the time to refill it. You're going to take the time to nourish yourself before you go back out into the world. And I love that because usually when this card comes up, the energy I get from it is the opposite. It's, oh, you need to check in. But I'm not getting that from this. I'm getting more of you're already doing it. You're already incorporating that self care. And so I feel like higher self's just like, yes, don't stop. And I think that's also going to help you find that. that clarity and confidence to just do the diving into the business. You're going to find the more you nourish yourself and take care of yourself, the better emotionally and mentally you'll be to really say yes to the business side, if that makes sense.
Totally. And just to kind of go off of that, one of the things that I was working through kind of post leaving West Coast, like California and Las Vegas, that whole energy, because they're very similar. And then now being in Arizona, because it's given me this more expansive space. I'm in the desert. So it's like just this feeling of expansiveness, like of emotions. And one of the aha moments that I had when I was in Sedona was the realization of the relief and also kind of the guilt that I've been carrying from that relief of not having to worry about certain things, like my home life, certain friendships, like things that I've outgrown. Clearly, I'd outgrown, but it was like I felt like it was kind of almost like a burden in a way, and it was taking away from essentially me taking care of myself and then moving into this whole lifestyle and then embracing just it being about me. Like there was this sense of guilt, like, wow, I'm really choosing myself and I feel kind of bad about it. But in the same way, I feel such a relief because I don't have to worry about certain things that I was consuming my mind about before, if that makes sense. So that really lands for me with the ace of cups.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like it's really also validating what you've also been experiencing. Like, okay, yeah, I this is what I've been doing and it's working, right? Because you're getting that confirmation of, yes, this is exactly what I've needed. Um, so moving into the near future, I have the near future card, which is the lovers, and then I have the higher self message to the near future, which is the six of pentacles. So I don't read the lovers like in the traditional sense. It's not, I don't read it romantically at all. That's just what I learned and then what I've kind of incorporated. The way that I read the lovers is it's all about feeling like there's something outside of you that you need to chase to fill you up, which can sometimes look like a relationship, but it could also look like success. It could also look like more followers. It could look like a lot of different things. Um, and so what I'm feeling around the lovers for you is that almost like a caution that as you do this journey to remember to really stay present and to stay authentic and to not chase the carrot. Because I feel like there's, when you do say yes to the business, there might be a part of you that's like, okay, so I need to, like game plan, I need to get this many followers, or I don't know what your success will look like, but I feel like there's always, especially with society, there's always like that dangled carrot of you need to get this. And I feel like the caution is like, well, remember as you do this journey to just be as present as possible and know that you're already whole. There's nothing out there that is going to come and fill you up, because anything that you're missing is already here. It's just you're not tapped in with it. That's all it is. It's not that it's actually gone. It's just you're not connecting with it. So whatever it is that you feel like that thing that you want is going to give you, how can you tap into it now? And that's actually, now that I'm speaking to it, that that's really similar to manifestation. And I know that that's what you teach, is this idea that you embody what you're hoping to be, right? Like what you're calling in. You kind of
Right.
look at it as out there. You look at it as, how can I foster that within myself? And that's the same idea. And so I feel like as you mentioned, I don't know if it was pre-recording or if it was after we started recording, that you have more eyes on you now because people want to see what you're doing. You're doing something that's radical and different, and a lot of people are like, what? You know what I mean? So you're gonna
Mhm.
get more,
Totally.
just naturally, you're gonna get more people who are curious, who want to follow your story. And I feel like this caution is just make sure you don't miss the point, because you're already holy. Everything you're doing is enough. You don't have to reach anything outside. Do you know what I mean? So, and then the higher self message to that being the six of pentacles. This one, I really feel like it's speaking to, again, that like you're doing enough. Like, don't feel like you have to overdo what you're putting out, like content or whatever, like, so because something's getting caught up in that, I want the next thing, the next level. It's the same idea of don't overdo it, don't over put out, because yes, we have, when you have followers or clients or things like that, that's wonderful, but there has to be a give and take. And I feel like the flip side of going after something too hard is burnout and over giving what you don't have. And so I feel
Word.
like it's really saying like on this journey, I'm just hearing be present and not chase after the thing. And if you catch yourself chasing after the thing, that's when you need to recenter and know that you don't need to do that to naturally draw people in and call in clients and call in followers and etc.
I love that. Wow, that's such a great reminder because I was I was getting a little anxious. I mean, it's a natural human reaction to when, like, for example, you post something, it's like, ugh, like people aren't interacting, or ugh, I'm not getting, I'm not getting the momentum that I thought that I would with like such a great, share. And then at the same time, it's not like about that because the right person will see it when they need to see it also. And then also as well, like the fact that I'm authentically sharing my journey is a lot. I mean, it's so much for me. Like it gives me so much joy. And that's what is a great reminder for me is being present with like my own self and my journey and also sharing what's coming up for me in the most authentic way.
Not everyone wants to talk about their situation or life questions out loud, and that's okay. That's why my email tarot readings are a perfect fit for the inward seekers, the ones who feel deeply, process everything, and don't always have the words or the energy for a live session. Here's how it works. You send your question, I tune in, pull cards, and record a 17 to 25-minute voice message, channeling what comes through around your question and situation. You'll also receive a photo of the cards pulled, all delivered to your inbox within 24 hours. My intention is always to honor your journey with sincerity and heart-aligned guidance. If this feels like the kind of support you've been craving, let's connect. You can find me at the link below or at www.spiritjourneycollective.com.
Yeah, I love that. And so it just sounds like it's like, and I love how that happens. So you were already kind of seeing that in yourself and how yourself's like, hey, let's just call it out for what it is and then recenter, because it's human. It really is, especially when you have eyes on you. I think it's like it's not the same thing, but it reminds me a long time ago when I was in therapy, and there was parts of myself that I was seeing for the first time. And I think it was like, I don't know, I've got my hair done, or I don't know, I was feeling really good. And then I was telling my therapist, like, I feel almost like I'm being conceited right now. Like I'm really like looking at this thing that's like part of me. And she's like, well, it's like when you get a new car. It's exciting. You're gonna want to check and you want to look out the window at work and just see your car sitting in the parking lot for a while because it's new and exciting. And so I think it's that
Yeah.
same idea when we're doing something new and exciting or we're putting our heart out there, we want that instant like I don't know if gratification is the right word, but just that instant, like, yes, people are seeing this and I'm being seen, I'm being acknowledged. But again, like you said, it's not about that. So it's that inner balance of like acknowledging that, yeah, it's okay to get excited and it's okay to want that interaction, but it's also okay to have that healthy detachment as well. It's a fine line for those of us that are in the in the spotlight for sure.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so your two cards in the middle, and I did pull a clarifier on one. I have the sun reversed, and then I have the devil reversed. These are pretty polarizing cards here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to briefly talk about the sun. I'm going to talk about the devil, and then I'm going to talk about the sun again with the clarifier, because I think that's the best way to tie it in. So with the sun being reversed, this one usually speaks to you've done so much work on getting close to your authenticity. Like you have an understanding of who you are, of how you want to be, of who you're becoming, right? And I like to also call this the butterfly card. So it's like you've done a lot of work, so you're no longer the caterpillar. And so what comes with that, especially when the sun shows up reversed, is there's almost this part of you that's afraid to fully show off your wings, fully show off your how far you've come. And it's usually because it's afraid of what people would think of this new you. Or those that knew you as the caterpillar, you might be afraid to be like, who is this person? This isn't the caterpillar we've known for forever. And so what happens when the sun comes reverse is it's like almost this tendency to either downplay our wings or hide them because it's almost it's a fear of rejection of fully being out there and fully being yourself. And so with the devil being reversed next to it, I like that it's reversed in the sense because I do feel like there's a awareness around this, like you likely already know of this inner battle of like you want to be yourself, but then there's a part of you that's a little bit like holding back because what would people think if I fully show it, And so I like that awareness, but the double is saying that you are still dealing with wanting to show up as the caterpillar while knowing it's time to be the butterfly. And so you're now at a crossroads. And so the thing about the double is that it's all about older patterns that don't serve us anymore, that feel comfortable because they're patterns we probably had most of our life. And so it feels really good when we say yes to those, even if in hindsight you're like, why did I do that again? Like it didn't really do anything for me. If it sets you back or it just doesn't take you any farther. I like to also call the double like a merry-go-round because you're moving, but there's no destination. You're just kind of repeating over and over. Or you can choose the uncomfortable thing, which is choosing you, which is showing off your wings fully and unapologetically and being the butterfly when there's a part of you that's like, oh, we should just be the caterpillar, and just choosing who you're becoming and who you already are. And so again, I feel like there's a sense of awareness around this, but it is saying that there's almost like an inner war going on. And I feel like that also probably speaks to both your journey and your content, like how to present yourself versus what you're actually going through. And there could be like an inner war of like, what do I share or what don't I share? What facets of me do I let those people see? You know what I mean? And so I feel like there's definitely a part of you that's more authentic that really wants to shine, that really wants to like let the world see it. And then there's a part of you that's like, not yet. Or kind of coming back to that lovers that chasing something like when we get here, then we can do that. And there is no future here. It's always now. Um, so coming back to the sun, the clarifier I pulled for the sun is the temperance reversed. And so I love this. The temperance can show up as different ways. I like to. It could be in the form of a counselor or a therapist. It could be in the form of friends and family who want to support you. Basically, someone that you can help unpack, like what's holding you back, what's keeping you at that crossroads. Another aspect, which interestingly enough, this is what I'm feeling more of versus the other two, although it could be the other two options too. It could also be your spirit team. It could also be your higher power. And the whole point is you need guidance from something bigger than you. And whether it's a friend or a family member or a counselor who can help give you that other perspective, or, or, because you could always do both, leaning on your spirit team and taking the messages that your higher self, higher power is giving you as well. But I do feel like it is more spiritual. Like that's what I'm really getting from this is it's like in order to really break away from this crossroads you're at, I'm really feeling like you need to have more lean more on your spirit team. And I feel like with the temperance being reversed, I feel like there's an awareness of that and there's also a resistance. And so like it's like figure out why you're afraid of fully leaning on your spirit team and how can you let that in more, because I mean, this could be in the form of synchronicities on your journey. It could be, daily meditation messages, but it definitely says that really with you being at this crossroads, you really need to have someone outside of you, someone or something outside of you that can see the bigger picture that you can't, to help you lean more into your authenticity and not feel like you have to kind of keep playing small, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really exactly where I'm at too. And it's interesting. I drew a card. I don't remember the card I drew for myself this morning. I was asking around my finances and my money, and one of the cards, the first card that popped up was like just being in more awareness of past habits, old habits, and the way that you're like approaching things. And I'm like, wow, that's not just money, that's like other aspects, right? Just my life. And like I was just telling you how with this shift of Mars into Aries, like just being that desire of being a lot more disciplined, and that's gonna really support me, and because that's my sun sign and my rising sign both. So it's definitely impacting me, And so one of the things that I realized is that from the past, one of the old habits is just kind of, going after every like shining light possible. Like it's like, oh, like let me see if this strategy will help or this strategy, mostly like about business, right? And seeing like, okay, let me play with this and this and this. And so I've tried all these different strategies of like different people and like I've tried things on to see how they fit. And I've come to this crossroad pretty recently in the last couple of weeks where I've acknowledged that I'm like, okay, I've tried a lot, but now I really want to find something that works for me specifically. And so I just literally hired somebody that is also a good friend of mine, has seen my journey and is very, very aware of human design and astrology. And like her focus is to help you be able to hone in on your message based on like who you authentically are, right? And like how you can do things. And so it's like perfect alignment because I'm like, I'm so irritated with like, or frustrated with like trying everybody else's when like it should be most aligned and designed for me specifically. So that being said, like that'll commence soon. And then also it's such a great reminder, thank you, in regards to leaning on my spirit guides and that out there. I went to a psychic medium when I was in Sedona and she told me, she was like, you have this like divine masculine that's really, really like supporting you and protecting you. Like I encourage you to really, really develop a more integrated relationship with that. And it was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, and just acknowledging that, like, I think one of the things is that I've had this perception of like, God source universe is this huge, huge entity, when in reality, yeah, it is, but there are things that are closer and more like um comforting right here with us, like a spirit or a guide or something like that. And I think it's that transition that I'm having right now where it's been this huge like thing and now like, okay, you have something very tangible right here for you. Like you get to lean on that more. And so it's like it's so fascinating that you're like bringing this stuff up because it's like all these things that are literally coming into transition like right now.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. When the way that so when I read, it's like it tends to meet you where you are, and that's why I say it exactly like that. It meets you where you are, and I think that that's where the magic really is when it comes to tarot, because so many people think tarot is about fortune telling and tell me my future, but I'm such a believer that that's it's good to know where you're headed and what's could be coming and what could be projected, but now is where everything happens. But yeah, no, I love that's what a lot of my clients take from that is it's like, oh, this is literally what I'm going through. And then
Mhm.
it gives you the tools now, like in the now, in the here, to
Yeah.
go to the next step. And I loved your how you were talking about like breaking down this idea of the higher powers is this huge distant thing far away versus like we have aspects of it that are tangible. I mean, I think all of it is closer than we think it is. Like,
Yeah.
I heard this one podcast, but with a medium who was saying how we tend to think our loved ones are far away, but they're not. It's just we're in a plane where we just can't, unless we have those intuitive gifts unlocked. Like, we just can't see them, but they're likely like right there because time and space it doesn't really exist the way that humans think it does.
Exactly.
Yeah, so whether it's God, your guides or whatever, it's always all around you because you are it. Like that's my personal belief too, is that like the life source in God is also the life source in us and the life source in everything around us. So it's all here. It's not as far away as it seems like it could be. So I'm so glad that you experienced that and that you shared that.
Yeah, that's definitely my biggest aha in the last like couple weeks, I would say. Or actually just last week is when I saw her. But just the recognition that it's like it isn't so far away. It literally is like right here with me. And that I get to tap into that and tap into that support as well to help me, especially now that I'm in a space where I don't have a specific, like I'm traveling to different homes and setting up. So it's not like I have a home base that's my own little personal sanctuary. So it's like I'm creating my little sanctuary as I go. I have my little altar that I take with me everywhere. So that's awesome. So it feels like more at home. But just it's a great reminder that like I'm really literally at home at every single place that I'm at because I am here present.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so amazing. It's hard to be present, but when you are living the kind of lifestyle you are living, like you have to be. And I think it's just such a great reminder to us who maybe can't just up and go nomadic. Our home is always where we're at. Wherever we are, we can create that space as in the now is our home. And what a great lesson though, and just experience that you're going through. But yeah, so that was your reading. Do you have any questions about anything, or did it all land?
It all landed. It was great. I appreciate everything, all the insight you were giving me, and it really is supportive. You had said something too that was really, really cool. I don't remember what card you were referencing, but I meant to comment on it. But you were just saying like how where it's like I've like my life now, like I've been doing so much like healing, and now I'm actually doing the embodiment part. And so
Mhm.
that just speaks to like all the lessons that I've done, all the lessons that I've like learned in my last almost 4 years now, post breakup and bankruptcy and burnout and like all the things. And so it's like with this whole, yeah, you were saying like how the transition into this nomadic journey, like I'm doing the physical thing, like I'm embodying that piece. And now, like, it's just a great reminder that the business aspects gets to be integrated within all that as well. And that, like, I have already gone through like the fire, I've already gone through the thing. And now, like with this whole transition, and I get to remind myself and be gentle on myself. I'm like, Sarita, it's only been like, 3.5 weeks on this new journey, even though it's felt like so much has happened in the last since I left on May 4th. Like that's when I left San Diego. So like this transition is very new. And so just being gentle reminder of myself, I've been learning so much in such a compacted amount of time. And that like this reading, thank you so much, Sarah, is such a great reminder that like being present is important, trusting myself and like the fact that I've already done that, done the work. And now like I get to show up as a butterfly, and I get to do that while really leaning in on my spirit, team to help support me in that.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, I'm so grateful that you let me read for you and that you joined me today. And if our listeners want to follow your journey, how can they find you?
Yes, of course. So I've got a couple, I'm on a lot of different platforms. So I've got a podcast, and you can find that on YouTube, and that's under Sarita Wellness. So my handle is Sarita Wellness on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And then for just like the nomadic lifestyle minus all the manifestation, you can go to Life of Sarita B, and that's on Instagram, and then also my Facebook. But I do real-time updates. But the manifestation part is definitely through the Sarita Wellness, and I share a lot of tips and resources and offerings there. Mhm.
Awesome. I will put that in the show notes so they can find you. And I'm so excited to see where your journey goes. I'm just like,
Thank
I'm
you.
just so like, yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited for you. And I love your posts. So I've been like following it. So I'll definitely continue to do that. And yeah, thank you so much again for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate everything that you shared today.
Thank you for joining me on another inspiring episode. Remember, your purpose is a unique and unfolding path. I hope these conversations have ignited a spark within you. Until next time, keep exploring, growing, and embracing the beautiful adventure of connecting with your purpose. Stay tuned for more meaningful conversations. If you're wanting more, consider joining our free Facebook community called Spirit Journey Collective, your haven for spiritual exploration and personal growth. Dive into a supportive community where sharing spiritual experiences is encouraged. Unlock the power of intuition Embark on a journey of self-discovery and connect with like-minded souls. If this sounds like a community you'd love to plug into, the link is in the show notes below. If you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this journey.